In the meantime, only a few more days left to file your taxes, and we know some of you are scrambling to get them finished. Last year was a tough one for homeowners in our area, so folks are doing whatever they can to try to squeeze as much tax savings as possible out of their houses. And here with some top tax savings tips is Shari Olefson. Don't make me say that three times. Shari's she's an author, attorney, and director of the Carnegie Group think tank. Thank you so much for being here today.
Sure.
What are some of the tax benefits that homeowners might not be aware of?
Well, some of them are the traditional ones that we know, but because of this crisis, some of those have become more important. So the first and the biggest, of course, is the mortgage interest deduction, and that's one of the things we know about, right? And that's one of the reasons it pays to own instead of rent. Now, with the interest deduction, you can deduct 100% of the interest you pay up to $1 million on a loan, as long as the money is to buy, build, or improve a home. This also applies, and this is important here in Florida in particular, to vacation homes and second homes, John, because we have so many snowbirds. As long as you use that home for at least 14 days out of the year, or 10% of the amount of time that you rent it for, whichever is more. The second biggie is points, because we had a lot of folks refinancing in the last year or so, especially under the HARP refinance program and now HARP 2.0. The points are deductible on lines of credit, on home equity loans, on first mortgages, even for your second home loans, on refinances. But again, you want to check with a tax advisor, because the amount of time it takes to deduct those points, in some cases they're deductible in full this year. In other cases, you have to amortize them over the life of the loan. So you want to make sure you do that correctly. The next one is real estate taxes. And we know here in South Florida, real estate taxes are high. So that's a biggie, and those are fully deductible in the year. If you just bought a home in 2011, you want to pull out your closing statement and look to see the portion of the taxes you paid, because your seller paid part of those too, and you can deduct that. Now, here's a new one that really applies, because a lot of folks are relocating for employment reasons here. Now, if you relocated to more than 50 miles away from your job, 50 miles more than your old job was, you can deduct some of those moving expenses. That's an important, because that can be big. And here's another biggie, because we have a lot of senior citizens here. A lot of folks are not able to sell their homes because of the market, and so they or their families may be making modifications in the home to make them more medical user friendly. Those expenses, as long as they're for medical purposes and not to improve the value of the home, are deductible as well.
That's good to know. Okay, that's what is deductible. What is not deductible?
Well, there are a few that are not deductible. Always has been the case. The first is insurance. Unfortunately, again, here in South Florida, we pay a lot of money for insurance. You cannot deduct that. The second is PMI. That's the private mortgage insurance, except for under a couple of circumstances. So if your income is below a certain amount, your loan amount was below a certain amount, and you got your loan between 2007 and 2011, you may be able to. So you want to check with a tax advisor. Homeowners associations also, of course, because those really go to pay for your maintenance and your insurance and things like that, are not deductible. And last is other home improvements besides the medical ones that we talked about, unfortunately are not deductible, but you do want to save those receipts, because if you're lucky enough to make money eventually when you sell your home, you want to put that into your basis so that you don't pay tax on that money too.
Do you recommend tackling this yourself or getting some help?
You know me. I mean, we talk about this. I wouldn't change my spark plugs. Do you still change spark plugs?
Yeah, I think you do.
Even
not
with
as
the computers.
Often,
I wouldn't do that without an expert. So this is important enough. You want to take advantage, not only avoid problems, but also take advantage of all those opportunities. So I recommend talking with a good consultant.
I used to change them myself, but no more. I don't even know where they are in the car anymore. Don't even know how to check the oil, it seems like. All right, thanks for those very important top tips. Now, let's go back to